Welcome everybody in the webinar on the Open Call 2 of the STADIEM project. Today we are having an interesting program for you. It's actually built in, let's say, three major parts. So if I can have a look at the agenda, Tanya. Yeah, then you will see that we will start with an introduction to the STADIEM project. So we're going to briefly sketch you why is there STADIEM and what are the main principles of the project. And then we go deeper into details by explaining a little bit what the challenges are that we want to address with the STADIEM program and how the STADIEM program is built. And then the third part, we go deeper into the open call. So what are key attention points for a successful application from your side to join to apply for the open call and maybe ultimately later join the STADIEM program. And also we will give you a quick overview of important contact points during this open call process. After this presentation, we will go to the Q&A. And that brings me to the following slide, where I will now quickly give some rules about how we will deal with the Q&A. So you will see that below there is a Q&A box. If you have a question during the presentation, we will ask you to actually type it down in the Q&A box. We are not going to take questions by raising the hand, but if you also have a question while we are already addressing some other questions that were posed, please put them in the Q&A, and then we will address your question. One of the people here present, and I will present them in a short while, will then take up one of your detailed questions. Please, it was also mentioned in the beginning when you enter the room, but be aware that this meeting is recorded. So, let me first introduce myself. I am Wim Vanobberghen. I'm the project coordinator. I am working for VRT. And around me, I have colleagues of the STADIEM project. First, I will give the floor to Lina.
Hi, my name is Lina Silveira, and I'm from F-Success. And we'll be responsible for managing the open call. Thank you.
Yes, then we have Tanya.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tanya Deuerling. I'm from Hamburg, from NMA, and we are one of the 4 innovation hubs, and we will be responsible for the match phase.
Thank you, Tanya. Then we have Anneke from VRT.
Good morning, everyone. Anneke from VRT Sandbox. We're also one of the 4 innovation hubs involved in the program, and I look forward to working with those of you who get selected for STADIEM.
Then we have Galileo.
Good morning, everybody. I'm representing Martel Innovate this morning. We are in charge of dissemination and communication for this project.
Then we have Marianne.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marianne. I'm from the Media City Bergen hub, also one of the innovation hubs located here in Bergen, Norway. And we're responsible for the pilot phase.
And then we have finally Daniel from F-Success.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Pavlica. As we mentioned here on behalf of F-Success, the world's largest network of founders, to ensure that you have the smoothest application process within STADIEM.
Thank you. And then also we should have, but maybe they are joining a little bit later, somebody from our other partners, Storytech. I don't know whether they are here yet. No, but then we will introduce you to them later. Okay, let's maybe start with the presentation. So first, I will just give you a brief sketch about what STADIEM is about. So actually the overall ambition of the STADIEM project is to actually boost opportunities and the success of media startups in Europe, especially in the field of the next generation media. And by this program, we'll actually create sustainable growth. That also means that in order to implement that ambition, we also have an operational ambition that's actually creating a strong community of media, non-media tech players and stakeholders and bring them together. And that you, as a scale-up, and those other partners will shape and foster those emerging technologies within the field of the next generation media. And therefore, we have devised an incubation and acceleration program, which you can access by applying to the open call and then maybe ultimately be selected. So if then you look at the next slide, you will see why we have addressed Stadium. It's of course because the media sector has a lot of challenges in Europe, but we think that we can overcome them by actually connecting a lot of actors, connecting scale-ups and SMEs and startups like you, and connecting them also with ecosystems in Europe, but also with mentors, with experts, and with coaching. So this is actually what Stadium is about: create a huge community and see that we can all reinforce each other, and of course foster innovation in the end. What are the key facts then of Stadium? So Stadium is a project funded by the European Commission. We are running for 3 years. We started in September 2020, and the project will end in September 2023. We have been granted 5.5 million euro budget under the Horizon 2020 program. And from that 5.5 million euros, about 3.8 million euros is actually meant to be distributed to scale-ups like you in Europe via 2 open calls. The first open call is already up and running, and the second one, that's why we are here, will actually run from December 2021 till August 2023. And so currently we're in the first stage of applying for that. Stadium, in order to make that broad ambition happen, brings actually 6 partners together from Europe. It's about 4 important media corporates, media accelerators or incubators. It's the VRT from Belgium, NMA from Germany, it's Storytech from Estonia, and Media City Bergen from Norway. And those 4 hubs are supported by 3 important European players, each with a particular expertise. XSS in managing open calls, running open calls, EBU, of course, for helping us connecting with wider media ecosystems, and Martel for communication and dissemination actions. If you look then at the next slide, we already maybe briefly present itself, but this is, if your application is successful, will be most of the key people you are going to deal with. I'm not going to go into detail, but you see that we have a nice balance of people from all over Europe involved in this project. What's then the Stadium? Important to know is that Stadium, of course, is using a broad definition of media, but is focusing also on some key areas, important strategic areas within media tech. We will go into detail in the next presentation, but here you see the list of the 7 topics to which Stadium is focused. Secondly, I already mentioned what is the relation, and you see it here on this slide, between this innovation program, which you see on the right side. We have an innovation program of 4 stages, but it also relates a little bit to the wider project of Stadium, where Stadium has also activities to help build that community, but also to grasp lessons learned, so that actually your project is not a one-time effort, but can also be sustainably developed towards the future. On this innovation program on the right side, you see that there are 4 stages, and each of these 4 stages will be explained more in detail by Marianne in the next part of the presentation. The next slide, please. So maybe also for you to see how fruitful Stadium can be, we have collected some testimonies from scale-ups that participated or that are participating in the first open call. We selected 2, they were selected randomly, so it's not that they are, let's say, the best or that they are the best example, but it's because their testimony, I think, shows you some of, let's say, the key value of the Stadium program for scale-ups. So this is the first testimonial from Data Village.
Data Village is a platform that gives back control of the data to the individuals and allows companies to access it without collecting it from their site. As part of the Stadium program, we are working with VRT and RTBF on a multi-platform media journey. It allows them to promote their content with access to new data. The opportunity of the Stadium program allows us to collaborate with large clients, a real opportunity for co-creation and access to vertical that we would not otherwise have access to.
The next testimonial is from FrameRight, and they are actually highlighting another important part of the Stadium.
With FrameRight, you can control how your images appear everywhere, forever. We combine AI with human touch, unlocking the full potential of image display control technology. In Stadium, we teamed up with Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, one of Germany's leading media houses. Together, we're developing Framework's image display control system to make their image workflows more efficient and transparent. STADIEM has supported us with funding, knowledge, and most importantly, given us an inspirational platform of fellow startups for peer support.
So why join STADIEM? Well, you heard the two testimonials. You have a lot of, you can get a lot of access to experts, to networks, but also you have that strong support of peer scale-ups that join the program. Important, where are the 4 hubs located? So they are VRT, that's in Brussels. Storytech is Tallinn, Media City Bergen. Well, the name says itself, it's in Bergen. And then LMA is in Hamburg. Important also why you should join STADIEM is because you are going to develop, integrate, and pilot your solution together with a corporate partner. And you get access to coaching, mentoring, technology validation, and assessment. And on top of that, we also will organize networking, pitching, and matchmaking events. So the final slide is now, when is Open Call 2 being launched? Well, that was on the 15th December of last year, but important, if you want to join STADIEM, please apply by the 28th of February at 5 o'clock Central European time. And submissions should be done by the website link you see here on the F-Success platform. And now I'm happy to give the floor to Marianne from Media City Bergen, who's going to tell you more about the challenges of STADIEM and of the phases in the STADIEM program.
Thank you, Wim. Well, STADIEM is now in its first cohort of startups. Some of the logos you see here on this slide might be familiar. These are the 40 startups and scale-ups that were selected for the match phase of the first cycle. And they are receiving up to 1.9 million euros in total to innovate their next media solution. And now it's your turn, so let's have a look at the objectives or challenges of this open call. We have 7 challenges which Wim mentioned, and we will just go through them one by one and look where you might fit in. So the first one, next slide, please. Yes, it's content creation and distribution. Some keywords here are immersive interactive user experiences and omni-channel. So here we're looking for the startups and scale-ups that create solutions to help us generate, process, and distribute content anywhere at any time. And for the second challenge, we have archiving. As they say, the future is bright, the past even better. Here we're looking for the companies that help us to discover the treasures in our vast archives and to share them and create value from them today. Yes. And the third one, content verification and against disinformation. Disinformation and fake news is an ever-increasing problem, threatening both communities and democracy. So the fight against fake news should be a part of everyone's DNA. Here we are looking for startups and scale-ups with solutions that help us to train, detect, predict, and report this information. Then quality news and journalism 4.0. Well, here we're looking for startups that create solutions and new journalistic tools to empower content creators and journalists to bring news at lightning speed, also in the process empowering the consumer to validate the journalistic quality. Yes. Then we have data, machine learning, synthetic media, and artificial intelligence. These are the companies that by using data and these technologies put creators, producers, analysts, decision makers, viewers, spectators, and consumers in the driver's seat by providing them the tools to serve them the best way possible. Yes. And then we have monetization, because as we all know, great content comes at a cost. The current business models of news media are mainly subscriptions and ads. But these business models are not optimized for preserving our European cultural identity. We need companies that create new business models and platforms to make sure that money lands more efficiently in the right hands. And do you feel that none of these challenges fits you and your company? Well, you might be a moonshot. These are the companies, media tech companies, that surprise us with their ideas and visions. Yes. And now we're going to look at each of the different phases of Stadium. So here we have an overview. The open call started on 15 December, and the deadline is on the 28th of February. During March and April, we will have an evaluation, selection, and contract process, where we'll select the 40 startups that are proceeding to the match phase. This is the first phase of the actual Stadium program, lasting from May until June, followed by the develop phase in August till January 2023. Phase 3, integrate from February till April, and lastly, phase 4, pilot from May till August. Yes, and let's have a look at each one of these 4 phases. As I said, match phase is the first phase. The goal here is for you to identify your corporate partner in the European ecosystem. This is a 2-month phase where you can receive a maximum of 7,000 euros for reimbursement for travel expenses when you are traveling to visit each of the 4 innovation hubs. Here, we will select at least 40 startups and SMEs to join us in this phase. So how do you identify your corporate partner? Well, the Stadium Consortium will organize several showcasing and matchmaking events for you to connect with relevant industry stakeholders. During the match phase, you will also continuously work on generating new leads through networking. You're also provided with upskilling activities so you can better prepare you for the next phase. And for getting to the next phase, you will have to sign a letter of intent with your corporate partner. And then we go to the develop phase. This is where you co-create your solution together with your corporate partner. This is a longer phase going over 6 months where you can receive up to 70,000 euros each. Here, only 16 of the 40 startups will continue to this phase. And during this phase, your main activities will, of course, be to build and develop your solution in close cooperation and co-creation with your corporate partner. We will also provide you with need-based support and upskilling in the process. And then, for those that join the integrate phase, this is where you integrate your developed solution with your corporate partner. This is also a 2-month phase where you can receive up to 30,000 euros each. Here, only 12 of the 16 will proceed to this phase. And during this phase, the main activities for you will be to finalize your technical integration and testing, also in close cooperation with your corporate partner. And also here, you will get access to need-based support and upskilling in the process. And then for the last phase, the pilot phase, where you actually execute a real-life public pilot in a real-life environment. This is a 4-month phase where you can receive up to 50,000 euros, where we only invite 4 startups from the integrate phase to join us. And during this phase, you are to demonstrate all the results and achievements that you have achieved during the whole Stadium program at a large scale to a wider community of stakeholders. You are also expected to have customer and stakeholder feedback on your solution and do an assessment in form of both market impact, collaboration, and further monetization possibilities. And of course, the ultimate goal of the phase is for you to execute a successful public pilot. And by doing this, generating new business, investor, and client leads. That's it for a quick overview of the phases. And now it's a pleasure to give the word to Lina.
Hi, everyone again. So as I was saying, I'm Lina from F6S. So we'll be the ones managing the open call as all applications are done through F6S platform. So we have here some key points to let you know what are our type of applicants and also some tips from the frequent asked questions, so that you already have some idea of what is required and what to avoid. So the type of applicants that we are looking for are operational for at least 1 year with proven funding documents, a cash runway or self-funded for at least 6 months to a year to prove the startup can finish the program, or at least at comfort from their investors. Also, it's important here that we take attention, because we need not only B2B, so business to business, but also we have to have at least a part of B2C. So that's an important thing also to point out. Also, it's important that you already are in a stage where you have a proven eligible product market fit. So it's important also to have also piloting capable products. So some live or late stages available beta. And another important point is that you have already received an investment or have a self-financed or at least minimum late seed or pre-series A. So that's really important points also to verify if you have these conditions. And now we'll pass to the frequent asked questions. You can see more of them in our webpage, but anyway, we wanted to share some of those here, namely the native language. So the project, it's a H2020 project, therefore we're having a common language between ourselves, which is English. In that sense, we need all the documents, all the information, everything along the process will be done in English. So it's very important that from the point 0, from the submission point, along the whole project, if you are selected, that you take into account that we have to do it in English. So only submissions done in English are accepted. Next, please. So also our startups in the country I am based in eligible for this program. Actually, we had just in the beginning a question also about the UK. So it's important that you take into consideration the applicants that are eligible. We already provide also this link, but it's already in the lists of the form that you have online, all the countries. So if you have like a scroll that you have all the options of the countries that are eligible, and also you have that link there that I posted, and then we can copy it also. I'll be copying it in the chat, so we can have that information, and you can check either your country is an associated country in case it's not from the European Union. So you have countries from the European Union, as I said, and also associated countries. I can mention, for example, UK, Israel, Tunisia, also Iceland. You can see all the list there complete and can verify by yourself. So next. So another frequent asked question is, our business model relying solely on B2C model, is that okay? So it's important, like I said, that we have here a margin between the two, so B2B and B2C. So that is something that you should take into account also, and as I previously mentioned, in the type of applicant. So another one is that I can't provide all documentation needed in time. Can I submit it later? So no, we need that the documents right before the deadline. Our deadline is 28th of February. So we should make sure that all of them are submitted through the platform. So not other mean, not through our email or anything else. Only submissions, documents, and all information are only accepted before the deadline in the F6S platform. And that link is indicated in our website also. And that leads me to the next part. Okay. So where do I apply? Where you have the F6S platform, as I was saying, where you have all the information. You can provide all the information through that platform, namely about the concepts, the technology, the business, the team, and all the company informations, namely the documents we were talking about that are needed to be submitted. And any information you need, you also have the proper channels to request that information, That leads me to the next slide. So the proper channels are the ones through F6S platform. So the application, as I was saying, is that link that you have there. And also, if you have any questions, you can post it on the public forum. That's a way also to do it that is a transparent way. And also, if you have any tech problems related to the platform during your submission, you also have a proper channel to reach it and try to solve your solution. But be aware not to do it very last minute, or else in the last 24 hours, we cannot assure that we have a timely reply on this. So please do your applications on time so that something comes up, you still have time to fix it and do your application with all the needed information. Also, we have here an email regarding, you see, open call at stadium.eu. That can be questions that you may not want to do it publicly. It may be something more specific or confidential, and that way you can see it. However, it's very important, and we already highlighted that no binding information will be provided via any other means rather than F6S public forum. So for a matter of transparency, that is also very important. So just as a resume and a highlight of what is our goal here, which is promoting the open call. So the deadline is 28 February at 17 CAT. Just for you to know, the evaluation period will take 2 months, so along the month of March and April. And then the kickoff that will be within the match phase, will be in the beginning of May, just for you to have an idea of the timeline. So please come back to us if you have any questions. As Wim said, you can always post, and we were replying in the meanwhile to some of your questions in the Q&A, and come back to us through the F6S platform in case you have any other questions you want to ask us. And that's it from our part. So we open the floor to the Q&A, which will be managed. Can you go? Yeah, it will be managed by Daniel, which is my colleague from F6S, and he will be co-managing with me the F6S platform applications.
Thank you very much, Lina. Thank you very much, everyone. We did have quite some questions already asked and answered. So let's go to the ones that are open, but I do kindly remind first to check the answered ones if your question is there already, or basically if the answer is already there for you. So the question is from Martin Prince. Hi, Anneke, indeed curious how many applied and were accepted for the first 40. I think this question is related to the previous one. In just a second. It's how many companies applies for stage 1. Until the European Commission approves all the analysis of the first open call, then we will be able to disclose all the information and the numbers from the first open call. So currently, if I'm not mistaken, we can't disclose this information, but indeed the traction was really well in the first open call, and we have amazing 40 startups already participating. Okay, I did answer that live. How long should be the Paolo Di Francesco asks, how long should be the proposal? Is there any limitation on the pages? There is no limitation of the pages per my knowledge, because there are no pages, it is a form, but indeed some of the form questions have character limitations, either for up to 500, 1000, 2000, depending on the question. It means that we just want you to be really focused on the application and answer the application questions in regards to this open call. So I hope that this answers your question, but yes, keep in mind to be really direct when applying. Same question from Paolo De Francesco. For the LOI, if the partner is not able to write a letter in English, is it acceptable in other languages? Can someone take over this question? Although English is our official language, I am not share about the additional documents?
I don't mind answering this one. All documents should be in English. It's in the guide for applicants. That's the running language within STADIEM, so everything has to be in English.
Thank you, Anneke. Of course, in case you can't have it in English, then we can't accept the application. Mats Ulenius, when you say operational for 1 year, what if we have worked full-time for over 1 year, but a company was officially registered more recently, limited company 6 months ago? I believe that the operational for 1 year is regards to also your financials. So you need to provide the financial status of the previous year. So that is why we need to have you being operational for at least 1 year. If some of the consortium partners would like to add something more about these questions, feel free to jump in. Again, Mats Ulenius, regarding the 4 media hubs mentioned, will our project be allocated to or supported by one of these hubs, or would we work with all 4 hubs? Marianne, would you like to answer that?
Yes, the answer is both. During, for example, the match phase, you will be allocated a mother hub, which will be your main point of contact, but you will also travel and hopefully travel and visit each of the innovation hubs to get to know their local ecosystem. And during the other phases as well, you will have a mother hub allocated to you, and we allocate mother hubs based on which of the hubs and ecosystem best suit you and your solution, which expertise is the best hub for you. Yes, I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. We do have a question from Veronica Kocharian. What target markets should the project aim to enter to be eligible? Only EU countries? That is a question. Of course, not only EU countries. You are allowed to have and penetrate other markets globally, but it is also important that you have defined your market within Europe, not just European Union, but within Europe. So we can be there to assist you, and of course, the ones that can help you better your position within the market. A question from Ellen. How about a company will be registered in EU? Would it be possible to apply? I'm not sure if I have understood this question. Maybe Ellen, if you can rephrase it a bit, because yes, all companies established within the EU member states, basically if they're based in one of the 27 states, plus other associated countries with the Horizon Europe program are eligible to apply. Of course, I will leave a link in the chat where you can find all the eligibility, or if someone of the colleagues can just paste it, so you can find all the eligible countries for application.
I already did in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Lina.
You're welcome.
We have also a question, Altan Doiran. We are developing hardware which is controlling cameras to move within the set during recording or in broadcasting studios or live events. So maybe the question is if you are eligible or not to apply, but I believe if you have a media solution that is definitely targeting this one, you can apply. Thank you, Altan. Question from Adam. Do you accept submissions from sole founders currently working alone and in search for a co-founder? To my knowledge, that is really okay. Of course, one of the questions is about your team. So the stronger the team, the stronger the application. But yes, if you fulfill all the eligibility criteria, you are allowed to apply and more than welcome. Question from Giorgio Rinolfi. will be available the recording of this webinar? If yes, where we'll be able to find it? Thanks. Yes, the recording will be available quite soon after the webinar. It will be on our website, on our social media and YouTube channel. And of course, we will email this to all the participants. Thank you. Question from rstorty@minfo.com. I don't know the name, but would it be possible to apply for Moonshot if the solution is cross-themed solution? So this is out of scope of my knowledge. So maybe some of the colleagues that are running the program can answer.
Yes, Wim here. So actually you should always select one area in which the challenge is related. Of course, in the proposal, I think that you can elaborate if it links to others, but you should always label it to one. But I think also Anneke wants to say something about this.
Yes, but the way I understand the question is that if you're cross-themed, you're by definition moonshot. No, that's not the case. In that sense, I would really recommend you read the guide for applicants very carefully and see how the different focus areas are defined, and define or choose your focus area in relation to those definitions. It could be moonshot, but it isn't so that by being cross-themed, you're by definition moonshot. So you have to read the guide for applicants carefully.
Thank you, Wim and Anneke. Anonymous attendee asks, hello, thanks for the explanations. What type of expenses are reimbursed besides initial travel for networking, e.g. staff salaries directly allocated to developing solutions, software licenses, cloud hosting, third-party contractors? Can someone also answer this?
For the match phase, I assume this question is regarding the match phase. We only accept expenses related to travel. So to go visit your mother hub, to go visit the other hubs in the program, to go visit your corporates, but everything related to travel. Of course, if COVID measures in Europe allow us to travel during the match phase. But so during the match phase, and I really emphasize here the match phase, no staff salary, no subcontracting, no software license. That is something for the following phases.
Thank you, Anneke. So really just to emphasize again, during the match phase, it is only for travel reimbursement. In other stages and other phases, you can allocate budget and money accordingly to your needs, according to your needs. Thank you. A question from Christian Bullet. Should we answer questions factually at this point in time or aspirationally? For example, who are your main customers/users? Yes, please be as specific as possible. What are your customers now? And of course, elaborate on how you target them, how you reach them. But also you are welcome, if the space allows, to say that you have aspirations towards change of the market or have additional customers. And if you have still space, you can add how will you reach them. Question from Ellen, would have a special requirement to a startup company? Sorry, Ellen, I can't comprehend. Maybe some of my colleagues.
Maybe we can summarize by saying that each startup has to follow all the eligibility rules, but we don't have additional requirements on top of the eligibility rules and the application. So there are no unwritten guidelines that we're following. Everything that you need to know is in the guide for applicants and in the application form on the F6F's platform.
Thank you, Anneke. Matt says, thank you, Marianne. Okay, we answered that. Okay, Valentin has several questions, so we should go maybe one by one. So does the partner need to be located in another country, or can the partner be in the same country as the startup? So the ones running the program, maybe you can elaborate on this.
Yes, I can take this. It can be, of course, in the same country. So you can also apply with like having a company in mind for the cooperation. But of course, STADIEM is to invite you to learn more outside of your own ecosystem. So of course it can be in your country, but yes, we hopefully you find also partners in other countries, because this is what STADIEM is for.
Thank you, Tanya. Maybe you can also answer the second question. Can the partner be a connected company that has the same shareholders as the startup? Or someone that can also jump in?
It can be, but I would advise against it, because like Tanya said, STADIEM is about expanding your network. And if you keep fishing in the same pond, then you're basically defying the goal of STADIEM. So I would advise against it.
Thank you, Anneke. The third question from Valentin is, what is the share of B2B and B2C companies in the open call in the past? Is there a set required share this year? As mentioned earlier, we can't disclose this information until the European Commission publishes it and approves it, but there is a required share of 80% according to the guide of applicants. And fourth question, do you share the presentation? Yes, we will also share the presentation in the upcoming days. You will be receiving it in your inbox, or you can find it on the website. Done. So we also have a question from Altan Doiran again. As macro rec, we have been supported by Media Motor Europe, that is supported by Horizon, and we also have been supported 8 different international startup acceleration. Is this accepted for the reference? We are happy to hear that you already participated in previous acceleration programs. Those are the initiatives that we dearly support and also participate in some of them as partners. So really glad that you already have quite some positive experience. Of course, it is a good reference in general, but for us, each applicant starts with the same questions and same conditions and criteria. But your advantage is definitely that you know how everything goes beyond the application process. Question from Angel Salazar. Our startup is filing a patent shortly. Can NDAs be signed with the corporate sponsors on a one-to-one case, or is there an IP document where all participating parties sign through STADIEM? Some of the colleagues, if you can take over this question.
Yes, if you get selected for the STADIEM program, you will be asked to sign a sub-grant agreement, and there it stipulates the rules regarding IP between the consortium and you. When it comes to the use case, you are required to have an additional NDA signed with your corporate partner because the corporate partner isn't involved in a sub-grant agreement. So that's an additional legal step that you will have to take if you want to preserve your patent.
Thank you very much, Anneke. Next question comes from Bostian Kleinschak. Does the term media cover only technological solutions for or within the media industry, or does it also cover new approaches to generating specific content too?
Could maybe ask for an example of what is meant
definitely.
here? I know, look, we from the previous open call, we take a broad definition of media, so we're looking also at new approaches, but I think the question can maybe be a little bit more elaborated to answer you correctly.
Of course, Bostian, if you wouldn't like to share this information, you can always approach us via email, and then we can discuss if you are eligible or not. Question from Ruth Erdal. Please, can you give some more detail on the required B2C elements?
The focus is B2B. So in that sense, I'm not sure what is meant here with the required B2C element. So if maybe Ruth can elaborate as well in a written comment, that would be great.
Yes, basically, as Anneke mentioned, we are focused on B2B. So if you are solely focused on B2C, you need to provide us some facts that you actually have and follow B2B model as well. Question from Anish D. Can it be a 100% B2B focused solution, or does it need to have at least 20 B2C component? Thanks. So someone can also take this.
It can be a 100% B2B focus. There is no issue there.
Thank you, Anneke. Question from Altan Doiran. As MacroRec, as I explained, we are working on a motion control system, which has been used by agencies, broadcasters, and filmmakers. Should this product range be listed under the 7th topic, the moonshot topic?
I'm not 100% sure. It can also be content creation, I guess. So I think it's content creation.
Thank you, Tanya. So Altan, I hope this answers your question. Mats Ulenius, maybe this question is hard to answer. We like those the most. Our project covers both challenges, number 1, country distribution, and 4, journalism. I'm sitting here wondering if some challenge categories are more competitive than others. Is this something you can give any guidance on?
No, we can give a guidance, but there is not a competition between the challenges. So this is not an issue. We don't select like we have to be the same number of challenges.
Exactly. So the best ones actually get in the acceleration program. Arstorti, further to one of the previous questions, I thought you could not receive funding from more than one Horizon-backed call. It is possible to receive several, just under there are, of course, some limitations for up to 100,000 K, but also depends on the call and on the agency that provided the funding to the acceleration program. So, of course, you are allowed to receive funding from more than one Horizon Europe or 2020 backed call.
But maybe add that not within Stadium. So within Stadium, one application only.
Exactly.
And also because we had someone saying that they had support from other programs. So it's also important to highlight that they should not receive, they cannot receive for the same project money from 2 different calls, so 2 different H2020 calls or Horizon Europe. Just to point that out.
Yes, that I think
and
covers
just
all
point, Daniel, maybe we'll take just the ones that are here, and if everyone has other questions, maybe we'll take it offline and they contact us directly, because we're approaching the end of our session.
Yes, definitely. So we can go quickly. Ruth, thank you for your feedback. The last question has answered mine also. Perfect. We're glad to hear that. Arstorti, is there a set number of startups in each selection? Marianne, Tanya, would you like to answer that?
I think Tanya just answered that because I see each challenge below. So no, there's not a set number of startups.
Okay, perfect. Each challenge done. Mats, okay, got it. Thank you, done. Stefan Konrad, working with companies with media, data, or articles, for example, does that still make us eligible for the program? I believe so. So if you are targeting media and if you're definitely targeting data as one of the challenges, you're definitely eligible for the program, Stefan. Anonymous attendee. If the application is submitted in a category that doesn't suit the scope and focus, does it get excluded, or can Stadium recategorize it to the appropriate one?
You mean by that if you select in a certain topic and actually it's actually not fit that, and apparently it's in the other one you selected, whether we then can make the decision to recategorize it. I think that's the question that's asked.
Yes, that is the question.
Maybe just the last one, no, from Artem.
Okay. So yeah, Artyom Abgarian asked, can you please clarify whether project needs traction? In which sense? So that is definitely a valid question, but in which traction, in which sense? So Artyom, if you can come back to us on one of those emails, or preferably on the public forum, the person assigned to this part of the project will definitely, I mean, should be money generating. So Tanya, would you like to answer this, or?
I'm not 100% sure if I understand it right, but obviously you should have a business case, and yes, there should be money generating at any time. So, and talking about traction, so what we are looking for are scalable models. So ideally, you have a solution or project that is scalable all over Europe, because this is what we are looking for.
Thank you, Tanya. So we have answer live. So we have 49 questions answered. If we do also have some in the chats, I am not sure. So these are the old ones. Okay, so okay, these all are the answered. So
I think Paolo, sorry, if Paolo Di Francesco asked in the chat, would it be okay to be only focused on B2B? But we already answered that. So
exactly,
no,
yes.
that would be a balance. Also, it has to be a percentage also on B2C. And that was it. Thank you, Daniel, for the great work.
All right. Yes, thank you. Then I would, if there are no more questions, then I would like to thank all the participants for your interest in the open call. And of course, we hope that we have addressed your questions. If not, the contact details were listed if you need to elaborate on some of the questions raised here or the issues you have. We of course hope that you will apply, and we are there of course to support you in that process via the forum and all the means that have been disclosed today. So yeah, we're looking forward to your applications, and yeah, hopefully we see maybe each other somewhere later this year. And good luck with the applications. Maybe finally, I see also that Storytech just joined the meeting, so maybe they can quickly present themselves, and you also know who it is from Storytech. Tiffaine, if you can just have a minute. No. Okay, no, I don't see Tiffaine reacting, so I would say we close the meeting here, and we thank you for your interest. You are here, but I don't see your face. Okay, Tiffaine, please go ahead. Quickly introduce Storytech.
Yeah, so very quickly, I'm representing Storytech and Exit Academy, which is kind of a two-headed monster. So Storytech specifically is a startup advisor and accelerator, as well as a creative innovation hub. So basically what they do is help with with the media techs startups, exactly like which is why we're in this program. So over the last few years, there were 4 cohorts, and now it's not really working as a cohort anymore, as a cohort program anymore, but more as a custom accompanying structure. So over the years, they've raised, like startups that have been through this program have raised over 10 million euro, and we currently have 10 companies that have been with Storytech that are alive and kicking. And we have mentors and partners such as, like, it goes from the New York Times and the Cannes Marché du Film, all the way to like the Estonian Minister of Culture, to the Taipei Film Commission or PwC Baltics. And recently we've been with projects like Startup Estonia 2.0, Accelerate Estonia, or Marché du FinCan Digital. And when it comes to the Exit Academy branch, it's a tailor-made coaching and advisory program to help startups get the skills in order to have to achieve their full potential to make successful exits. So it's and it's a very, very, very quick presentation, but we don't have much time, so I guess I will keep it concise. But yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tiffaine. So then we close this webinar then with a short presentation of StoryTech. So thank you still for joining. I know you were also there for the Q&A, but there was a problem in the beginning to enter the meeting. So let's close it here. I stopped the recording, and I thank you all for your time and your questions and your interest in STADIEM. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.